Wow, 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 wow. And I'm feeling good. Everybody's been asking me, how are you feeling, Dr. Laura? I feel fabulous. Those of you that are here for the first time, this is not your mama's church. Right? 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 And so thanks so many of you for being here today. So many people that are back. It's so wonderful to see your faces. And we got rid of some ash holies and we're ready to go. So Reverend Dale and Reverend William, we were thinking, okay, we wanted to do a talk today. And so what we're doing today is the three of us are speaking, and so our talk title today is Back to Basics. All right? So we're back to basics. Did this not feel familiar today? Did it not feel? It felt so good. I'm sorry, I'm not a Broadway star. Yeah, so you know what? This is coming from the heart today. You know, Dr. Tom, the founder, his rock is over there. Upon this rock, I forget what to say. I built my home or something. I built whatever. Let me go see real quick. Hold on. Since I'm not on live stream, I can do this. I know my hip is working good. Upon this rock, I will build my church. Dr. Tom Costa, the founding pastor. And Dr. Joe's is, and so ends your lesson. And you know what? This is back to basics. We want to, this is not, this is about love. This center was built on love, and that's what we're really going to be focused on. Yes, the mind is important. You know, Ernest Holmes was the founder of our teaching. And it was the science of mind. Now, people in the past got us confused with Scientology or Christian Science. And the thing with Dr. Ernest Holmes, and he wrote the book back in like 1928 or the 20s anyway, and he said that one day science and religion would walk hand in hand. And our textbook, what's so beautiful about our textbook is Dr. Ernest Holmes weaved all the faith traditions and looked for the common core. What was it? And you know what? It always came to love. That is the commonality of every faith. You know, our Lutherans over here, they're about their love and their God and the way they see it. And, we have our Catholics, we have our Christian Science, we have our Greek Orthodox. Everybody, there's this core. And so one of the foundations of our teaching is the way we pray. Now, I was raised Catholic, and as many of you know, and it was rote, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is, we just, we'd say our rosary, our Father, and so forth, and it was just rote. And in our teaching, it's different. It's so different. It's about you're not praying to something outside of yourself in the sense of an almighty being. You really are getting in connection with your heart and the truth of who you are and the circumstance and so forth. And that's the focus. And Reverend William will be up and Reverend Dale will be talking about this too. My slide, Gilmore, please, is all prayers will be answered when we pray aright. And so we're going to be teaching you today are the basics. And, and I want to thank all of you. This week has been a little hectic, Had my grandbabies down. Really didn't get to see much of them this week, because a lot of things are going on. But I just want to tell you, all the love pouring that I'm going to cry. All the love pouring that has come to us and to our center. And just know that if you do have any questions, please email Reverend Dale, myself, or William, and we'll be happy to answer. But we don't want to go there. This is a sacred time and a little disruptive, but thank you for being here. But anyway, so prayer. So that's it. It's about getting your consciousness in the right place, and it's about declaring the truth, knowing that it is already so. And so Reverend William's going to come up, and he's, buckle up, Buttercup, right? Because he's got his take on it, which is very, very. This was something that Dr. Joe used to teach. That I remember. That was the only time I ever heard of before. But I know Reverend William is going to come up. But again, just know. I just want you all to know how loved you are, and this is a center of love. We want, those of you who are here for the first time, I hope you felt the love and you could feel the energy when you came in here. This is, this is a place, spiritual community. And we are a spiritual family. And thank you all for being here. And Reverend William, come on up.
Thank you so very much. And for those who are new today, this is definitely a unique day. We're in the middle of a transition. And so that is what you were witnessing here earlier. Just like Dr. Laura was talking about, there's different faiths, different ways to look at spirituality. Well, just like organized religions, each and every one of you has your own individual way of interpreting spirit. Sometimes what unfolds is what you saw here and witnessed today. Some other person's version of what they call spirituality was being challenged or looked at differently. Is a better word, not challenged, but being seen differently. And there's some apprehension about that. I mean, any one of us has and can recognize that type of feeling, right? Whenever you have something, how you see things, and somebody else has a different view, sometimes you're thinking and questioning yourself, and sometimes those thoughts aren't quite as pleasant as they should be. But that is spirit and what we are talking about here today, and that's what Dr. Laura is talking about, that's what Reverend Dale is talking about, is that there's a uniqueness and an individualized expression to each and every one of you, and that is honored here. Always was, and always will be, and it is right now. So we're back to basics. There's a way of praying. Like Dr. Laura was saying, Hail Mary, oh, that's right, I remember it. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. And I don't know what the Jewish Orthodox version of it is, but basically there's rope. Okay, well, that's good. You see, how do I know? But there's a way of praying. And I grew up, and maybe this will resonate with some of you. I thought that growing up, it was like as if I was talking to somebody, kneeling next to my bed at night, hands together, and going, what the hell am I talking about? And going, okay, God, hey, it's William. Or back then it was, it's Billy. There was no process. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. But there is a process. Regardless of your faith, life and the universe is organized. It's mathematical. There's a law. There's a process. Would you all agree with that? So that means, from that fact, that prayer is a movement of thought for a particular purpose. Now, there's big words to be used. And for those of you who are not familiar with this process, I want to show you what the big words are, because even to this day I can't remember them. So the first one is recognition. The second one is unification. Recognition is recognizing that there's only one life. Spirit, the universe, cosmos, nature. That energy, that life force doesn't care what you call it. It just is. Unification is you are one with that. Not something outside of you. It is something within you. Then in prayer is what I always had a hard time with on the side of my bed at night. Realization, declaration. What do I want? That's the part of the prayer which is what you want to transpire is going to happen. Then next, whenever you accept something from a friend, what do you say? Thank you. Gratitude. Gratitude is the power behind the prayer. And then the last one is release. How can you get something in your hand when you're holding on to your prayer? You have to release your prayer, hands open, to be able to accept that experience. So these words, recognition, unification, realization, gratitude, and release. Is anybody here going to remember those words when it comes tonight or today or whenever you need to do a prayer? Like I said, I've been in this philosophy for a long time, and I have a hard time with these words. Better yet, and I was taught by the wonderful Dr. Joe. That man, this center has changed my life. It's changed my marriage. It's changed my children. It's changed my relationship to life itself. Even though what we saw here today, right now, I hold no grudge. There's nothing to hold. I only see the beauty and the perfection of Spirit unfolding. Better yet, I'm going to teach you the bingo method. I love this. And for you newcomers, you guys can remember bingo, and lady. So, the bingo method. B, begin with God. That first step of a 5-step prayer, there is a process, a mathematical process to prayer. Just like A plus B equals C, these 5 steps will help align your consciousness as well as your feelings to be able to create that what you want to experience through the use of law. Now, law in this philosophy is the mechanical part of what spirit is. Spirit changes your thought into a thing. Dr. Joe, I'm going to do it again. He talks about that spiritual pasta maker. The dough, what it is that you want to have, that ethereal nothingness that's out in the cosmos that no one can see or comprehend. It comes into that spiritual pasta maker, so it goes from the thought into the thing. Remember that? The thought becomes the thing. I, include yourself. So whatever God is, you are. Let me ask you a question. Is God love? Yes. Is God health? Yes. Is God discourse? No. Is God lack? No. So if it's not true for God, how can it be true for yourself? So in the inclusion, include yourself with what God is. God is love. I am love. God is peace, harmony, joy, abundant. I am all of those attributes. So begin with God, include yourself. Whoops, go back. The N in bingo is name your good. This is what your prayer is about. This is the substance. This is the experience that you want to create. Whether it's a new job, whether it's a new relationship, or whether it's a new pair of shoes. I'm getting kind of tired of the blue suede. So name your good. Again, There's a mathematical and logical sequential way that life unfolds, and this bingo method will help you align yourself with that logical unfoldment of life. G, give thanks, just like what I said earlier. Giving thanks, even though you may not see it physically, it's already happened in the mind of God. There is no time when it comes to spirit. There's only our secondary causation or our secondary reality that we have the idea of time. And so there has to be a process. So keep yourself out of it because there is no time for spirit. And I can tell you, there's been time and time again with my business, I get finished with a job, and I have no prospect for another job leading up. But because I know how spirit works, and I know myself, and I know my truth, that I pray. I tell you what, time and time again, the phone has rung from somebody I've never met, never talked to, and they found me. So you, as an individual expression of spirit, you don't need to worry about how it's going to happen. Let's face it. Your mind, my mind, isn't as big as the universe. Would you agree with that? So how can I dictate to spirit how my good is going to come to me? So allow that to go away. So just give gratitude for what you just prayed about. And just like I said earlier, giving thanks is releasing that word, that thought to the universe to allow it to do what it needs to do. And by having and releasing it, you are now open and receptive to that good. So I'm going to do a quick little prayer just to kind of show you and see if you can pick out and see the steps that I'm about to do. There is one life in this universe. It is omnipotent. It is omnipresent. It is always there. Peace, love, and joy, and prosperity are all attributes of that one life. I know that what is true of this power is true in myself. Peace, love, joy, prosperity are all mine. This is what I know right here and right now. This center is powerful. It is abundant. I know that I am up to the challenge to help lead and guide and be a beacon of light to those who don't have that strength within them, telling them and showing them that they do have the light within them this very second. With that realization and that knowledge, I have love in my heart. I am filled with such joy and gratitude, knowing the truth, not only for myself, but for the truth of every single person here, and for those who are not here and who are... there you go. I just did it. Who are not here today. It doesn't matter because there's no distance when it comes to spirit. One heart, one life. So in that gratitude, I release my word knowing it is done perfectly right here and right now. And so it is.
Wow, there's so many people here today. I am like in love. I am in the love vibe. What's that? I love you. And you always know that you guys are all so in my heart. And what matters to me is this center, because it's not about a person. It's about spiritual love, community, and oneness. That's all. That's all. So what I like to talk about a lot is my journey into this center and into this philosophy. And 22 years ago is when I came to this center. I've been here a very long time, 22 years. Dr. Tom was the spiritual leader of the centers. Reverend William talked about, he was the founder of our beautiful, beautiful sacred space. And I was kind of shy. I know it's hard to believe, but I sat in the very back row because that's where I was comfortable. And I came here not really knowing much about prayer. Many of you know that I was raised in the Jewish faith, and we prayed in Hebrew. So when I prayed, I kind of understood what I was saying, but I kind of didn't. There was a little disconnect. And I chose to put a photo of could you go back? I chose a photo to start my talk of all these a few different faith traditions and what it looks like when they pray. So for me, coming here and sitting in the back there and hearing somebody talk about prayer as something that is not beseeching, where I'm not begging God to do something for me in my life, where I was taught that prayer is about a knowing of a reality that's been calling to my heart to live into. And for some reason, that reality hadn't been manifesting. And prayer here is all about the manifestation of your dreams and realizing that anything that's on your heart to live into is possible to live into. And so I opened my heart and my mind to this science of mind prayer as the bingo method that Reverend William talked about, because it was foreign to me. And at first I didn't believe it was possible because I had all this stuff in my head about prayer, the rosary, the wailing wall. That's what I thought prayer was. But prayer was much different is what I was taught. This quote by Greg Braden really is what it's about that we teach here. That one of the secrets of the wisdom traditions is that our prayers are most effective when we prepare ourselves as a whole being, mind, body, and spirit, to enter into a sacred conversation with the mind of God. And again, we don't teach duality with God here. I just want to be very clear about that. And Greg Braden isn't teaching duality either. We do have different aspects to ourselves. I think we need to acknowledge that. We have an aspect of being really feeling maybe of this world, and then we have an aspect where we're really clear that we are this allness and this wholeness of life. We've got so many different things going on in our minds, and I, for one, believe it's important to acknowledge it all, because it's all there, and to ignore it is a disservice to our life and to the possibility to be able to see ourselves with the clarity of what's possible and what already is, so we can work in unison with our psyche and our emotions and our entire beingness. But this prayer thing is going to this aspect of the mind of God, which we all are. Y'all have it, all of you. The mind of God is right where you are. But we have not been taught that concept, many of us. We have not. And I'm here to tell you, we teach you that here. We teach you to feel the mind of God as you. We remind you that you aren't separate from anything, especially the power of God. You're all of it. And I love coming here on a Sunday because I love reminding all of you that fact, because I think it's a fact. Maybe it's a perception, but it works, baby, it works. So coming into this sacred sanctuary of prayer, which I absolutely love, and I will tell you, I fell in love with prayer when I came here. As dubious as I was about it, there was something inside of me that said, Dale, you've got to explore this new type of prayer because it's a perfect fit for you, where you are in your life and your gift to this world. And so I took it on, and there was some pushback inside of me. I didn't want to learn how to pray like that, and I have all these old concepts hitting me, and I said, I gotta keep going. I gotta try this. I gotta make this work for me because something inside of me says this type of prayer does create a greater life. So get on it, Dale. And so I did. And the doubts and the unbeliefs fell aside because I saw my life demonstrating by praying and praying effectively. And not holding on after I do the release, thank you, Reverend William, not holding on and letting the universe do what it does so well, which is act upon the power of my word and bring it forth into this physical reality. That's what our prayer does here in this beautiful sanctuary. And my last slide is this. Prayer, this is an original. I was feeling inspired, and I said, prayer is becoming the energy of the life that is calling you to live. Because thank you. I have my moments. Because really what this prayer thing is bingo method. What it's really doing for us is taking us out of our mind, that is, maybe we call it the human mind, the mind that has all of these false beliefs that we're separate from God, or we're stuck in the relative world, or we're not able to do something. This prayer pulls us into this space where we are letting go of that belief. That's why we recognize first. I am recognizing that there is only one power, not 20, not good, not bad. There's one power, and it is God. It is spirit. It is infinite intelligence. It is the love. It is the grace that is everywhere present. It is the energy. It is that field of vast opportunities and possibilities. That's why we say, recognize that, not this earthbound place, not that you're less than. Recognize the vast expanse of space that is yours to create from, because it is everywhere, in you, around you. When we recognize that, we clear the field for us to walk into our next step, which is the oneness, which is knowing that I am it. I am it. I recognize it. I am it. Now my energy is so stoked up, right? I am so clear in who I am and what I can do and what I can achieve in this life. So crystal clear. My energy has just shifted. And now I get to say whatever it is, my good, that I am ready to live into. And I am in such a place of incredible empowerment and such a place of conviction that I know that heart of mine that is so ready to bring in a greater life, that heart of mine is ready to communicate with that universe without hesitation, without anything blocking it. And boy, I deliver that word. I deliver it to the world, to the universe. And so I've got this energy going inside of myself. I know what I'm doing. I state my good. It is done, and I'm ready to say thank you, Reverend William. I am ready to say gratitude, because what Reverend William said about gratitude is so true. It is the activating principle of all of this. When I say thank you, Spirit, or thank you, universe, for delivering this good into my life, boy, things are moving and grooving. I'm telling you. So when that's done, yes, I'm ready to let it go. I don't need to think about it anymore, because my good is now in motion, and it is done, and so it is. And that's what I love about prayer. Prayer is the way that we do life here. It is the foundational energy, the foundational activity that Science of Mind has given us to create this better life. It is such an amazing gift that Ernest Holmes has given to us. And when we use it rightly, when we realize that it isn't about begging and pleading, it's about knowing and saying, yes, I'm ready to receive my good. When we can get ourselves into that place, your life is going to change exponentially. I can guarantee you that, because I've seen it happen in my life and the lives of so many of you here in this room. And so I would like to just end on this note. Yes, change is weird. Change can be uncomfortable. But when I look out in the sea of people who are ready to live their greatest life, I hold that for you. And I'm reflecting back to you that knowing. I am here to affirm that your good is now revealing itself and coming into your life. Just be open and receptive. You don't need to, as my mother would say, you don't need to futz with it. Don't futz. Let it do what it does so well. And so I just want to bless all of you for joining us today, for listening to our beautiful talk about coming back to basics, because that is where it all starts. The basics are our foundation for moving and growing and expanding. So please continue coming here, continue loving us. We will continue loving you and bringing the goodness of Spirit to your lives. And I just say thank you for being here today. Namaste.